Story of a girl from Durham who's been selling lemonade for years and donating all the proceeds to mothers and babies in need.
Brad Pitt's life is filled with red carpets and award shows, but it's the unexpected moments that truly define him. When a young girl selling lemonade to fund her cancer treatment catches his eye, something incredible unfolds. What happens next? It's a story of compassion and generosity that will leave you speechless. You won't want to miss this heartwarming tale. The foundation of a legend. Life has a way of creating unforgettable moments. Moments that remind us of the profound impact kindness can have. One such moment occurred when Brad Pitt, amid his packed schedule, stumbled upon a little girl sitting alone at a lemonade stand. This wasn't your typical stand, and Sarah wasn't your typical child. Something about her stopped him in his tracks. Maybe it was the determination in her eyes, or the quiet strength radiating from her small frame. Brad Pitt's own journey was far from ordinary. Born in Shawnee, Oklahoma, and raised in a modest household, he worked tirelessly to carve his path in the world. From a young age, he was driven by a desire to make something of himself. Yet the road to success was anything but easy. Brad's early years were filled with struggle and rejection. He moved to Los Angeles in pursuit of a career in acting, taking on menial jobs to support himself while attending countless auditions. For years, it seemed like Hollywood was a distant dream, and every door he knocked on was shut. But Brad refused to give up. His breakthrough came after years of perseverance, when he landed a small role in the television series Dallas and eventually made his mark in films like Thelma and Louise and A River Runs Through It. In spite of his early success, Brad faced even more challenges as he navigated the pressures of fame. He battled with the constant scrutiny of the public eye, the weight of expectations, and the complexities of his own personal life. But through it all, Brad held on to his core belief that success wasn't just about talent or luck. It was about resilience and the will to keep going even when things seemed impossible. So when he saw Sarah's lemonade stand, Brad couldn't walk away. He recognized in her the same grit and resilience that had carried him through his own challenges. What he didn't know was how deeply this moment would affect not just Sarah, but himself as well. The lemonade moment. As Brad walked toward the lemonade stand, the moment felt special. There were no cameras following him, no group of people around, just him, drawn by compassion, stepping into a situation that would leave a lasting impact. The noise of the busy world around them seemed to disappear as he focused on the small child sitting quietly behind the stand. Sarah, just 5 years old, clutched a worn-out teddy bear tightly to her chest. Her lemonade stand was simple, just a piece of cardboard with "Lemonade $1" scrawled in uneven letters. The sign wasn't perfect, but it radiated a quiet strength, an unspoken story of resilience. Everything about the stand, and her unflinching presence behind it, showed a determination well beyond her years. Sarah didn't simply sell lemonade, she fought to save her own life. Diagnosed with cancer at the age of 3, her world had changed in an instant. Long hospital stays, chemotherapy, and a barrage of medications became a routine she knew all too well. But through it all, Sarah remained remarkably calm for someone so young. Her parents watched as she endured treatments that left her exhausted and weak. But Sarah never let her illness define her. She would smile through the pain, trying to comfort her parents when they grew upset, comforting the nurses and doctors who treated her as if they were the ones in need of encouragement. When she was well enough to leave the hospital for short breaks, Sarah's determination only grew stronger. She wasn't one to ask for help. Instead, she found her own way to contribute to her medical expenses. Inspired by stories of people facing their own struggles, Sarah decided that she would raise the money for her treatment by setting up a lemonade stand. With her teddy bear by her side and a small table, she would sit quietly, waiting for people to come by. She never asked for donations. She simply offered her lemonade, knowing that it was the only way she could help. When Brad saw her, he didn't just see a little girl with a lemonade stand. He saw a young fighter, facing her challenges with a courage that many adults could only aspire to. Her battle reminded him of his own struggles, the ones he'd kept hidden for so long, and it stirred something deep inside him. He recognized that strength, that quiet bravery, and knew he had to help. He approached the stand, his heart heavy with both admiration and a profound respect for this child, who had learned at such a young age the importance of fighting, even in the toughest times, turning lemons into hope. Sarah's story was a powerful blend of heartbreak and resilience. She wasn't just looking for pity or waiting for someone to come to her rescue. Instead, she was taking matters into her own hands, no matter how small the steps. Every cup of lemonade she sold was a testament to her determination to fight for her future, no matter the challenges she faced. At just a young age, Sarah was confronting a life-altering illness, but she chose to face it head-on, raising money for her chemotherapy with each cup. The lemonade stand became a powerful symbol of Sarah's hope and determination to overcome the odds. When Brad Pitt crossed paths with Sarah at her lemonade stand, he was struck by something remarkable. As Sarah shared her story, explaining her goal of raising funds for her treatment, Brad saw in her a reflection of something deeply personal. Her strength resonated with him, reminding him of the importance of perseverance when life gets tough. Sarah wasn't just surviving, she was actively fighting for her life. And her unwavering spirit in the face of adversity moved Brad in ways words couldn't capture. In that brief moment, he saw a kind of strength that often goes unnoticed. Brad's act of kindness wasn't just about donating money or buying a drink. It was about offering something much more meaningful: his time, his attention, and his heart. He listened intently to Sarah's story, offering words of encouragement that were genuine and full of empathy. In that simple moment, Brad became more than just a celebrity. He was a human being, extending kindness and showing Sarah that she didn't have to face her battle alone. His gesture made her feel seen, heard, and supported in a way she hadn't anticipated. It wasn't just a transaction, it was a moment of connection, one that gave Sarah a sense of hope and reminded her that there was still good in the world. Was Sarah's lemonade stand merely a small gesture? Or did it reflect Brad's own battles and the strength needed to face life's hardest moments? Could her quiet determination be the reminder he needed? That even the smallest acts of courage can create the most lasting impact? Brad's inspiring conversation with Sarah. As Brad Pitt leaned down to talk to Sarah, his words weren't chosen lightly. They carried the weight of his own experiences and a deep desire to uplift her spirit. He began by acknowledging her incredible courage, saying, "Sarah, what you're doing here isn't just selling lemonade. It's showing the world what it means to stand tall in the face of challenges." His voice was warm, his tone gentle yet full of admiration. Sarah, used to receiving pity, felt something entirely different. Brad's words didn't carry the weight of sympathy, but rather the energy of respect. For the first time in a long while, she felt truly seen, not as a sick child, but as someone making a difference. Brad then leaned in closer, his curiosity genuine as he asked, "How do you stay so brave, Sarah?" The question surprised her. She paused, clutching her teddy bear, as though it gave her strength. Finally, she smiled shyly and replied, "I just think about the things I want to do when I get better. That keeps me going." There was something so simple yet profoundly moving in her answer that Brad couldn't help but nod. Her resolve reminded him of a time when he had been forced to dig deep to hold on to his dreams. He decided to share something deeply personal, a story from his charitable work that had stayed with him. "You know, Sarah," Brad began, "I've met many people who faced challenges like yours. One time I visited a small town in the Philippines where the whole community had been devastated by a natural disaster. The damage was heartbreaking. Homes were gone, and families had lost everything. But what struck me was how quickly they came together. A group of children, not much older than you, started collecting whatever materials they could find. Old wood, scraps of metal, to build a small shelter for their families. They didn't wait for others to save them. They took action in the face of fear, showing strength and hope in the midst of devastation. Just like you with your lemonade stand, they were doing everything they could, with what little they had, to make things better for the people they loved." His story sparked a glimmer of curiosity in Sarah's eyes. She could see the parallels between that boy's determination and her own. Brad continued, "It reminded me that courage isn't just about doing something big, it's about doing something meaningful, no matter how small it seems. Just like that boy, you've taken what life handed you and found a way to turn it into something that helps others, too. You've already achieved something incredible, Sarah," Brad added with a smile. "You've turned something difficult into something beautiful. What you're doing here is not just about raising money, it's about showing people that no matter how tough life gets, there's always a way to fight back." His words resonated deeply, filling Sarah with a sense of pride she hadn't felt before. For once, she wasn't just a little girl battling an illness. She was a symbol of hope and resilience. Brad wasn't finished. "You know," he added, "when people see you out here, working so hard for something so important, they don't just see a lemonade stand. They see a story of hope. And trust me, that hope spreads farther than you can imagine." He paused, letting his words sink in, as Sarah's eyes lit up with renewed determination. Before leaving, Brad made her a promise. "I'm going to share your story, Sarah. People need to know what you're doing, because you're teaching all of us a lesson. Even when life gives us the toughest challenges, we can rise above them." In those moments, Brad's words weren't just about lifting Sarah's spirits. They were about giving her a sense of purpose. He left her not only with a smile, but with a belief that her fight mattered, not just to her, but to everyone who heard her story. Was it enough for Brad to simply speak words of encouragement? Or did his actions prove that true support goes far beyond just words? Could his efforts transform Sarah's journey into something that would inspire far more than just a few? How Brad Pitt took action beyond words. While Brad Pitt's conversation with Sarah was inspiring, his actions truly transformed her journey. Moved by her bravery, Brad made a generous donation, but didn't stop there. He reached out to a local charity, sharing Sarah's story and encouraging them to collaborate with her. This led to volunteers joining her efforts, turning her lemonade stand into a community initiative that raised significant funds. Brad also leveraged his connections to support Sarah's family, linking them with a leading pediatric oncology organization. This connection provided access to advanced treatments and alleviated the financial strain on her parents. Using his platform, Brad showed Sarah's story during an interview, praising her resilience and inspiring donations from across the globe. He even arranged for Sarah to attend a special event where she confidently shared her journey, crediting Brad for showing her the power of hope. In spite of his efforts, Brad remained humble, repeatedly emphasizing that Sarah was the real star. "I just happened to meet her at the right time," he often said, directing attention to her determination and courage. Through his actions, Brad demonstrated that kindness goes beyond words. By using his resources and influence, he gave Sarah the support and recognition she deserved, helping her see herself as a symbol of hope for others while continuing her fight with renewed strength. What do you think about Brad Pitt's unexpected gesture towards the young girl selling lemonade to pay for her chemo? Would you have done the same? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to click on the cards for more heartwarming stories and interesting videos.